does that make you feel? My therapist asks me. It's a simple question. How does that make me feel? My therapist tells me that there is no right answer, but I can tell from the patient expression on her face that there is, in fact, a right answer to this ridiculously broad question. An answer that cracks open my spiritual conscience, where my therapist can slither herself into, forcing me to empty my insides into her hungry, awaiting ears. Part of me wants to fulfill this hunger of hers. After all, she is being paid by the hour to listen to my so-called trauma dump, and it would be a waste of time to sit here together in silence. But the other part of me, the angsty teenager part of me, wants to tell her, scream at her, the real answer. I don't freaking know. It is difficult to put emotions into words. No matter how many books I read or thesaurus I buy, my vocabulary remains defaulted to happy, sad, mad, and get out of my room or you'll be sorry. Now, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. For one, I don't need to remember much. But as I got older, I found myself at a loss when the simplicity of feeling became richer and more complex, morphing into sensations I just didn't have the words for. And when I was diagnosed with clinical depression in December of 2022, sad just wasn't enough anymore. There's a point of helplessness where you just don't know what to do with yourself. Everything hates. Everything hurts. At the lowest point of my life, I found myself curled up in the back of my closet, a laptop and headphones keeping me company as I marinated in the dark. In a desperate attempt to dissolve this looming weight off of my chest, I turned to writing. This is quite ironic, considering my lack of emotional vocabulary. Yet, as I sat alone with the glow of the laptop, I found that writing isn't always about feeling. Sometimes, it's more about putting words, even the most stupid, meaningless ones, on the face of a blank page. Raina was created sometime in January of 2023. I don't know her middle name, and I don't know her favorite color, but I do know that she, too, writes in the back of her closet, wears headphones around her ears, and most importantly, I know her story. In the vastness of words filling a Google Doc, there are fragments, bits and pieces of familiarity that form the skeleton of Raina, of a girl who couldn't translate her feelings into words, of a girl whose life mirrors mine. And as I continued to converse with this fictional character, I realized that it isn't just Raina's experience who parallels reality. A character acts as the bridge between the fictional world and the real world. To cross over this bridge and enter the imaginary, it's really the character that holds your hand and guides you throughout the journey, gives you a place to stay, and lets you breathe in this kind of spiritual wonder. Take The Call of the Wild by Jack London, for example. A brief summary of the plot is that Buck, a dog who once lived a life full of riches, finds the true meaning of his primitive instincts and returns to the wild where he belongs. Just from hearing this one sentence, you can already sense how the story will play out. But in order to live up to these presumptions, Buck himself must be a poignant and profound character whose sorrow, happiness, anger, and pain align with that of the readers. Essentially, his story must mirror one's own to provoke emotion. For me, writing, especially through the eyes of a fictional character, is a form of therapy, a recess from the ache of existence where I can really feel alive. Surprisingly, this form of self-therapy isn't the most uncommon. A study published by the British Journal of General Practice revealed that writing therapy, or expressive emotional disclosure, resulted in better physical and mental health amongst its participants. Although the exact reason for this relief is unknown, scientists speculate that writing stimulates the brain's cognitive processing mechanisms, allowing for the body to better overcome stressful situations. As a writer of 10 years, Reina is not the first character I've ever created, and she certainly won't be my last. Yet, there is something different about the way her character seems to dance on the page, an element of soul that just can't be missed. So when I read the 52 pages of her tear-stained poems, her pills before breakfast, and her hours spent writing in the back of a pitch-black closet, I feel a story that doesn't take pretty words to tell. It's the character that brings the emotion out of you. Now, today, Reina resides somewhere in a Google Doc in my laptop. I no longer write in the black hole of my closet, and I sometimes let my headphones drape around my neck instead of over my ears. Even though Reina and I are both on the journey of healing, there are still times when we need each other's relief. A custom-made therapist to cascade a complex of words that are no longer limited to happy, sad, mad, and get out of my room or you'll be sorry. On the days that I feel that the world is going to end for me, I don't hesitate to pay a visit to Reina. Our stories going strong, our lives held in one another's hands. Literally and figuratively, I don't think I can ever repay this fictional character for the catharsis she gave me. Yet, I can share our story with those around me and encourage others to find their own Reina. Of course, there will never be two characters alike, for nobody can tell your story except for you and only you. With that in mind, I want you to find your reflection on the blank screen of your laptop and give this beautiful face a good look. What do you see? Who do you see? I guess you'll never know until your fingers begin to move over the laptop keys. Perhaps your next word will become the portal to discovering a character you never knew existed, a character you never knew you could be. Thank you.